Happy Tuesday, Latin 2 students. Today we're going to be talking about something called the jussive noun clause. Okay? Jussive noun clause. Jussive is from the word eubeo, which means to order. Okay? And you've already seen a jussive subjunctive before, which is a polite command. All right. And the jussive noun clause also has to do with commands, but as you can see here, our definition, it is a subordinate clause, and it basically, what it's going to do is report an indirect command. Okay. So that is a jussive noun clause. Now, how can you recognize it? Well, generally speaking, you're going to have a head verb in the main clause. A lot of times something of like a command or an exhortation or something like that. Not always, but a lot of times. Okay. Then you're going to have ut for positive, ne for negative, and then a subjunctive verb. Okay. Now, when you translate this, a lot of times your jussive noun clause is actually going to be translated like an infinitive. Okay, like an English infinitive, so with the word to. All right. Not always, but that's going to be frequently how you translate. Okay, so let's look at a couple examples of this. First one here, rogawi, means I asked. Meum amicum, my friend. All right, then I'm going to ask my friend to do something. So I asked my friend to help me. Okay. I asked my friend to help me. Now, what the command would be, or the direct command would be, help me, or please help me, okay? But when you put it into indirect, it becomes, I asked so-and-so to help me, all right? So you'll notice there, ut introduces a positive, and then you've got your subjunctive verb there, you waret. All right. You can also translate this, I asked my friend that he help me. That is acceptable, although I think generally speaking, if you can translate it like an infinitive and that makes sense, that's usually going to be the way that we're going to do it. It's usually the simplest way. Okay? Another example here. Semper monio te. So I always warn you, or I always advise you, okay? And then we've got a negative here. I advise you not to trust the enemy, okay? I'm always warning you, I'm always advising you, okay? And then not to do something, so not to trust the enemy. So the direct command here would be, don't trust the enemy, all right? But when you make it indirect, it's I advise you not to trust the enemy. All right. And then one more here. My father encourages me. All right. And then what does he encourage me to do? He encourages me to become wise. Okay. There's that new verb theo in the subjunctive. All right. So my father encourages me to become wise. So what is he actually saying? He's saying, become wise. All right. But when you put that indirect, it's to become wise. All right. So that is your jussive noun clause. It's another subjunctive use to put in your proverbial Latin arsenal, which should be growing daily. I also wanted to review a couple things with you today. So this is a jussive noun clause, which, as I said before, is basically an indirect command. Okay, so I wanted to look at, just really quick, a couple other indirect things that we have learned throughout the year. The first one is indirect statement. Okay, and this is super, super common in Latin. And just a reminder, an indirect statement, this was back in chapter 25. All right. It is a subordinate clause. It reports something indirectly that was said, thought, heard, felt, seen, all sorts of things. Okay. You can recognize it because you'll have a head verb in the main clause. So a verb of saying, thinking, feeling, knowing, mental activity. All right, but then you're going to have an accusative subject and an infinitive verb. Okay, that's going to be what really sets it apart. Then when you translate it, you use the word that, and then you translate your verb like an indicative. Okay, so example sentence going back with the friend and helping me here. Puto, I think, and then that my friend is helping me. Okay, there's our translation there. I think that my friend is helping me. All right, so that's indirect statement. So what am I actually thinking? I'm thinking, my friend is helping me. All right, but when you put it in indirect, you use the word that. Okay? But you'll notice here, this does not use a subjunctive. This just uses an infinitive. Okay, so it's a completely different construction. It's still indirect, but it's formed very differently. All right, and then one other indirect thing that we have learned, indirect question. And this one is pretty easy to recognize. It is a subordinate clause, once again. Reports a question indirectly, hence indirect question. Whoa. All right, now this one's very easy to recognize because you're going to see a question word. Okay, so in other words, tell me why. Okay, yeah, I'll stop there. And then you're going to have a subjunctive verb. All right, just like with the jussive noun clause, you had a subjunctive verb. All right, and then you're going to translate your verb like an indicative. Okay, so look at our example here again using the friend helping. I do not know, why my friend is helping me. All right, so the there is your question word. So if this were a direct question, it would just be, why is my friend helping me? All right, but when we make it indirect, I don't know why my friend is helping me. Okay, so that is a quick review there of indirect statement, indirect question. Okay, those are old uses that we've had, and then the new jussive noun clause. Okay, so we'll get practice with those as we continue on this chapter. Make sure that you're also reviewing the forms of theo. They're pretty straightforward, but just make sure you're really solid on those. Remember also, be keeping up with your Aeneid reading. Okay, books 5 and 6. Those will be for Friday. Okay, make sure you do those discussion posts and reading checks. The reading checks should be up within the next day or two. All right. And then we're going to try to do a vocab quiz on Monday. So make sure you're getting ready for that. Okay? So I hope you guys have a fabulous day. Let me know if you got any questions, and I'll talk to you guys later. Love you all. Bye.